today is the 1st of August, 2016. It's Monday, in case you haven't looked at your calendar. I'm Fran Duvall, your host for today, and I'm pleased to start our show today with Corey Young, our Assistant Food Service Manager, Director?
Assistant Director.
Assistant Director.
Yes. Yeah.
And along with Corey, we have Lee Long, who is the the Dining Service General Manager at Garden Ridge. Welcome to both of you, and I'm sure our audience, having just finished eating their breakfast, or maybe some are in the midst of it, are thinking about food. Talk to us.
Well, thank you for having us. Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to touch base on a few things that I actually talked about at Coffee with the Exec last month. What you'll notice, or what you'll see coming up in dining first and foremost, is we're working on a training team that is actually going to circumvent the dining room, starting over in Fireside, eventually make its way to Woodlands and then Jefferson. And what it is, it's a combination of what we feel are the strongest servers from each of the dining rooms. They'll kind of come together and they'll travel around and help with training, specifically training of the wait staff. What we're hearing is, although the wait staff, of course, are well loved by the residents, that a lot of times there's inconsistencies with the training. So one day, maybe the wait staff are doing a great job, or your server is doing a great job and does everything correctly. But then you'll walk in the next day and it's like a completely different experience. This server that you have the next day is completely different than the one you had the day before. So this is a project that we've all been working on, not just myself, the whole dining team, and we're hoping to launch it next week, again, starting over in the Fireside. So if you're a resident and you dine in Fireside, or any of the dining rooms, quite honestly, because it is going to circumvent, like I said, look out for those servers. There'll be, if you see servers walking around with a little notepad and paper, what they're really doing is they're just kind of auditing the servers and making sure that they're following everything that they've been trained to do when they get hired. So that's probably the biggest thing that's coming up short term.
That we will see.
You will see that as residents. You will see that. So just to let everyone know, don't be alarmed if you see people walking around, servers walking around, writing notes down. Next thing, we just had 2 weeks ago, we had our farmers market, the first one for this year. It actually was very successful. We also, in correlation with that, we did a dining services cookout out on the patio for staff and residents. It went very well. It was very hot, it was very hot.
I didn't go to the cookout because of that.
Yeah, Michael was definitely earned his stripes that day, cooking in that heat over the hot grill. But it was very successful. We're hoping to have that again. Now, the farmers market itself was actually ushered in by Knowles, which is a local farmers market up the street there. They're coming back hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll pass that information out as soon as we get a definitive date. The cookout will probably happen another maybe 2, possibly 3 times before the season ends. So every time you see the farmers market, it doesn't mean that cookout will happen again. So just so residents are aware of that, we'll let you know when the cookout will tie in with that farmers market. So sometimes the farmers market will be out there just by itself.
Is the farmers market always going to be over in town center, or will it rotate?
We don't right now have any plans of rotating. I think Knowles, when they came out, they felt that was the best location for them. So right now we don't have any plans of moving it. When we talked with them before they left, they had said that they really liked that location. They were going to come back there again, which was again over in town center, out behind the store on that patio area. And the last thing that I wanted to cover is the bistro lunch menu. When we kind of looked at that, realized it's been the same for, I think, probably 2.5, 3 years. And again, don't want to alarm residents. We're not saying that we're going to take the whole thing and change it, because there are a lot of things on there that are resident favorites. I know the Virginia Lady is one of them. The mushroom soup is one. So the staples, that are part of the bistro won't go away, but just some of the items that aren't selling as much, try to bring in some new items just to bring in, some new entrees for the residents to enjoy. when I used to work over in Woodlands, we would typically, the lunch menu itself as a whole wouldn't change at once. We'd kind of change a couple items here and there, the ones that weren't selling as much. So those are pretty much the updates I have for dining and what residents can look out for. And I know Lee is here, and she wanted to cover what's going on in Garden Ridge.
Before we switch to you, Lee, how close are we to getting a director for food service? Not to say that you're not filling in beautifully.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we were just talking before we went on air that I'm actually an assistant to myself right now. I really don't have anyone to assist, but I don't have a time frame on it. I do know they're interviewing, and they have interviewed candidates so far. I can tell you that they're very, very diligent when it comes to interviewing for director level, exec level positions. I know with Eli, I think it took 6-7 months before he came in after Brian was promoted to the associate director position. So I don't have a time frame, but I can tell you that they have been interviewing so far for people.
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing him on channel, or her on Channel 6.
Yes.
Now let's switch over to Lee Long. Lee how long have you been at Garden Ridge, Lee?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years, yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And it's been a wonderful 8 years. I would say that with the advent of signature dining, we're looking to align our dining program with signature dining to the extent possible.
Sure.
And as Corey was talking about the training and doing the audits, we will be participating in that program as well. And we are doing also ongoing customer service training in Garden Ridge involving the whole team, because service at Garden Ridge is not exclusively with the high school students. It also involves the entire staff, and specifically the nursing staff assists us, the programming staff assists us, administration, so it's really a team effort. And our customer service training has been interactive, and we try to bring the whole team together so that we will have nurses participating, programming people participating. Everybody comes.
I would think the nutritionists would be,
yes,
for certain individuals, their diets would be more specific over there. Is that true?
That is very true.
Okay.
Yes, very true. Our philosophy is to have as liberal diets as possible, because people enjoy their food more, and that's, of course, what it's all about. But definitely we do have a lot of really specific diets which have to be followed, and we have a lot of compliance things that we need to do that, of course, don't exist in independent living. So it does make it, in that sense, a little bit more challenging. But good customer service is good customer service, and it needs to be everywhere. So so
the emphasis is more on service than food at the moment over there.
Right. Well, the food part, that's ongoing, and we continually stress that with our staff to make sure that the diets are right. And we do print like updated resident lists every single day, because today I might be on a special diet, and tomorrow maybe I get upgraded to a regular diet. So the diets can change every single day. So we are looking forward to several really special events. On the 9th of September, we are going to be having a soprano opera singer come, who actually happens to be the sister of George Rawlis, our brand new administrator at Garden Ridge. And she is a classically trained soprano, and she will be singing in the meeting room for Garden Ridge residents and families. And we're going to be doing a special dinner that evening in conjunction with the programming department. So we're looking forward to that.
Oh, that's
going to be really special.
What is her name?
I
Do you know?
believe, I don't want to say because I'm not 100% sure.
It'll come out.
Right.
We'll see it. Either after the fact or before.
Right. Well, I'm sure that we'll have a video of it.
That'll be nice. Seeing it on Channel 6 maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And during the summer months, we also do barbecues at Garden Ridge. We each week or every other week, depending on the weather, we have 7 floors at Garden Ridge, and so we will have one of the floors come down and enjoy the beautiful garden and the meeting room for a barbecue. But not to worry, we feed everybody the same grilled food. So,
I
which
see.
is super popular.
You couldn't accommodate all of them out on the patio or
right,
whatever
exactly.
in that one room.
Right,
Yeah, I get
but we do make sure that everybody gets the grilled.
They get that picnic food.
They get that picnic food, right, exactly.
That's great. That's terrific.
Thank you.
So over there now, do they have only one kitchen, or are there more kitchens than that? Because
Okay, so we have one central kitchen, okay, one main kitchen where all of the food is prepared, all right? And then we have what we call hot boxes, or like heated cabinet boxes, where we will put the food in the boxes right before the meal, and that's taken upstairs to each dining room where there are steam tables, okay? And then the food is plated individually for each resident according to their preference, so that there's we offer as much choice as possible. Absolutely.
I see. Okay.
So the food is fresh and hot and tasty. And we also have a lot of things that we're working as part of signature dining that we can prepare for the resident should they request it. For example, if somebody asks for an omelet, we can make that on the spot.
Okay, that's good. Can they get ice cream when they want to?
Absolutely. Oh, we have residents who want ice cream for breakfast.
Oh, sure.
And you know what I say? It has milk and sugar and eggs, and what could be more healthy?
Speaking of ice cream, Corey, there have been some among my table mates, those who eat ice cream, there have been some questions. Why did we switch from Hershey's ice cream, which was so good and so wonderful, and now we have a lesser quality ice cream? Any way to answer that?
Well,
Am I putting you on the spot?
No, it's okay. I know a lot of the other communities had already switched over to Jack and Jill. I know one of the main reasons that we were talking about and when this was being discussed was that, excuse me, Jack and Jill had this huge amount of flavor varieties, more so than Hershey's did, and you also had different types of brands that could be supplied by Jack and Jill. Now, when we launched it and we brought into the dining rooms, there was definitely a mixed reaction. I know a lot of residents loved Hershey's and loves the brand of Hershey's, but what we found, and again, I had only been at Woodlands at the time when we launched it, some of the flavors of Jack and Jill were just majority of the residents didn't like, but some of them thought that some of the flavors were actually very good, even comparable to Hershey's. So the key is you have to find the right flavors. So we would bring in all different kinds of stuff. Like, there's caramel sea salt, there's, I'm trying to think of
Well, some of the
butterscotch. Yeah,
things,
there's just a whole bunch of flavors that we just started trying. And it was either hit or miss. The residents were like, I wouldn't have this ever again, please don't bring it, or hey, this is actually a really good flavor. So we're trying to work as best we can right now in finding the flavors that residents like, and that's what we need to do, not just for Woodlands, but for Fireside and Jefferson as well. They also offer what you would call a specialty flavor or a specialty type of ice cream. This is only through Jack and Jill. And what this flavor is either a Ben & Jerry's or a Haagen-Dazs. Now, we're looking at that and seeing if we can maybe have one flavor of the week be a specialty. So that would be a really nice flavor that's, even, I guess you would say a nicer ice cream than Hershey's. Don't want to say that that's coming out right now. That's something that we're looking at, but we definitely want to see if we can incorporate that to
Well,
help.
I know it's not top on the nutrition list,
Right.
but it's. And I personally don't order ice cream very often. Very rarely do I order it. But I have friends who I eat with that order it every day, and they're upset.
I hear it. Oh, I know. I've heard it too.
Okay,
Heard
well,
it too.
listen. Thank you both for coming.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
And see, I wouldn't have brought that up, but Lee brought it up.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's brought up every day, so I get to hear about it. So it's okay.
Well, thank you both for coming.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned, please.